So I guess to start off with, can you just tell me a bit of background about yourself and your injury? Yep.
Well, I come from an office background, and at the time of the injury, I was managing a really busy department.
Yeah.
I was active, fit, efficient, responsible for a lot of people. I had a lot of people that relied on me. And apart from work, I was studying, involved in volunteer work. I was very active in a number of other areas, including running.
Yeah.
And I'd only just returned from an overseas holiday where we'd hiked and cycled from North to South Vietnam.
Yeah. Wow. So can you tell me a little bit about what happened to you, what your injury was?
Yeah, I had my accident in what would be considered an extremely safe environment. I was in my company boardroom, ready to start a meeting. We had a 5-minute team building activity as an icebreaker before the meeting, and I slipped off the edge of a table I was sitting on and fell backwards. My teammates who were present said later if I'd been in the Olympics they would have given me a perfect 10 as it was such a perfectly symmetrical fall. Unfortunately, that symmetrical fall of just a little over a metre not only broke and dislocated my neck, instantly paralysing me.
Okay. Wow.
So I suffered a break dislocation of my C5 vertebrae, and my diagnosis was C4 quadriplegia.
Yeah. Okay. And so what was your experience of undergoing rehabilitation? So from there.
Well, I did my rehabilitation first as a resident and inpatient at the Hampstead Rehabilitation Centre, and then after I was discharged with a private provider.
Yep.
And rehab was very challenging as I had to tackle even the smallest task from scratch. So you go from being responsible for so many things. I used to say my life was like being on skates, to then having someone brush your teeth. It's like being on another planet. And it's like being a child again, because people are doing things, they're making decisions for you.
Yeah.
And, from an adult that's very experienced and competent, this is a really, really hard thing to challenge. So I was quite shell-shocked initially through that period. And, I did struggle. I felt very weak.
And how did you go with getting back to being able to do some of those things during your inpatient stay?
Well, I had to trust in others, something I wasn't comfortable in doing because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. But I don't know anything about rehab, so I had to trust in professionals, and I had to rely heavily on the experience and commitment of other people to me and my rehabilitation. And this was a bit scary because in my profession that I was in, I knew who was good and who wasn't good at their job. But in this profession, I don't know anything about the job. I don't know who's good, who isn't good. Am I getting someone that is committed to me or just wants to come in and get a pay packet every day? So it was really important to me to have the best. Luckily, I did get really good rehab professionals.
Okay, and what did you find you've sort of spoken a bit about, it was quite challenging needing to have so much assistance to do things. What were some of the other aspects of rehabilitation that you found to be really challenging for you?
I would say the time factor. It's a really slow process. I've always liked to do things quickly. I'm quite impatient. And I found out that can work with most things in your life, but it can't work with rehab. And if you do, you get injured. And I had made some progress, and then I got 2 frozen shoulders, and it set me right back again. So you really do have to pace yourself. And I think keeping motivated, both physically and emotionally, is challenging because, I could no longer drive. So I had to rely on people to take me to rehab, and then you had to get up and go to rehab, and you're lacking energy, you're feeling quite weak. It's easy to sit on the couch and not go. So one of the really challenging aspects was pushing yourself to stay motivated, particularly when you may not be making the gains that you would hope or think that you would make. But personally, I pushed myself because I know how easy it is for atrophy to set in. So I tried to do something every day towards my rehab to keep some momentum, because I think momentum adds to motivation.
Yes, yes. Because I was going to ask you that actually. So what things, you said that motivation was really important, but what things did you find motivated you?
I would say goals. I mean, it sounds like a stock standard answer, but goals did motivate me, because no matter how small the goal is, you feel good when you achieve it.
Yes.
And it gives you that momentum and motivation for the next goal. And if they're too big, you get frustrated. So I liked having really small goals set and then resetting them and stretching them and moving them. That was really effective for me.
Yeah.
Being given choice and being able to make my own decisions in a lot of my rehab was important, because it made me feel like a real person.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go from being someone competent to like a child again, and then being able to have choice was very important. And incorporating things I like doing.
Yeah.
Not saying this is a stock standard rehab program that we use for every man and his dog, and this is what you need to do.
Yes.
For example, I was given choice to explore some different things, and I found I really loved the pool.
Yeah.
It took weight off of my body and my limbs, and it was just something I loved. And I, even though my rehab provider didn't have a pool, they organised for me to go to a pool. And even better, what I liked is after they had gone with me the first few times and set my exercises, they allowed me to go with a family member.
Yeah.
And my brother took me every week on his day off. And it makes you feel like a real person on a social outing.
Yes.
Rather than someone there watching you, rehabbing you.
Yeah.
And also I was able to explore Pilates and found things that I really liked, and I think that lifted my spirit and towards achieving and being involved in that.
Excellent. Were there any other things that you found helped you with your rehabilitation?
I was lucky. I had lots and lots of support.
Yeah.
I had support of family, excellent friends, and work. I needed a lot of time off of work, and my employer was very, very supportive. And the professionals that I worked with, I found that they were flexible, and that was important, and I liked them. And I guess it's always hard to like the professional, because you get who you're given. You sort of, I don't know how much choice there is, but something so significant in your life, if you're working with someone that you don't like, it could be hard.
Yeah, okay. And I guess what things did you find were sort of a bit of a struggle, or were sort of perhaps a bit detrimental to your rehabilitation and recovery?
Ooh, detrimental. Let's have a look. I had such a good experience, but I would say fear.
Yeah.
Fear sets in, and fear set in it showed its ugly head quite a few times, and that can be detrimental.
Yeah.
But I would say the only thing that comes to mind is lack of continuity with the professionals.
Yeah.
Because when you form a relationship and you get into a rhythm with somebody and you're making progress, and then that person changes and you have to start again from scratch, even though that new person has a file, they're only words. They don't understand you and what's gone on up until that, and it's really hard to start again.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and what things, I guess, do you think were sort of factors about the health professionals and that you had that were valuable in your rehabilitation process? So you've sort of said continuity is a good thing, that you liked the professionals was something. that you found was important? Were there any other things about the sort of the characteristics or the traits of the health professionals that were helpful?
Yeah, I think that I had fairly experienced people. A couple of times I had younger people.
Yeah.
And I think inexperience can make you a little fearful. Yeah. Because you're injured and you think, oh, does this person know what they're doing? Yeah. You know, they're not 100% confident. If they're not 100% confident, how am I going to be 100% confident?
So you kind of pick up on that.
You do.
Vibe, do you?
Yeah. And I mean, you always want the best. I mean, give me the best and the most experienced person, but you can't get that. So it's important because you're dealing with people's future, their ability or inability to progress and be independent. But I think you can also tell, apart from, and I'm not picking on young people because you can get very, very confident young people, but you can also get people that are just going through the motions and it's a job. Yeah. And you can pick up on that. And the fact is, I would say probably quite a few people that are going to listen to this interview at some stage in their life will need some professional to rehabilitate them in some area. Yeah. And you are going to want someone that is committed to getting the best outcome for you. Yeah. If it was something, for example, I'll use something different. If you had cancer and you went to an oncologist, you wanted someone that said, yeah, come in, oh, we might be able to, fit you in and blah, blah, and go through. You want, help me. You know, my life's at stake. Yeah. And it kind of like is with rehab. Whether what you can do, your quality of life, it's with this person. Yeah. So you want someone that's going to go, I'm in. Yeah. I know you're in this 100%, I'm in this 100%, and I'm committed to getting you the absolute best outcome. Believing that person, feeling it, is really, really important. And you know what? When it's not there, you can feel it. Yeah. And then you start getting anxious and thinking, oh, you know, are they doing the right thing for me? Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like you really valued that partnership type idea as well, of sort of coming alongside of someone and working, you know, in partnership with your health professional.
It is, because it's a significant event in your life. Yeah. And so that person you're working with becomes a significant person. So it's very, very important that you both have the same goal and you're both on the same page to working towards the best outcome.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so looking back now, what do you think was the biggest impact of the injury on your life?
I would say accepting change. Yeah. Was a big impact. Going from someone that was very active and fit to a more sedate lifestyle, by forced change, not a choice. And for example, when one of my girlfriends got married, she got married in Borneo, and for her hens, because I've got a lot of fit friends, instead of having your normal hens party, the hens was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Wow.
I would have been right behind her, number 2 up that mountain. But I sat by the pool at the hotel while all the girls climbed, because I can't do that. Yeah. So it's accepting. Yeah. And you can either go, wow, 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 and you've got to come to a period to accept that, hey, it's different. And there's a lot of good things, because I value quality now over quantity. Yeah. And I've quite got to like my more slowed down pace. Yeah. Another big thing is being more dependent in a lot of areas. Yeah. Like I'm someone that would get out and pave. I painted my house. Yeah. And so now I get tradespeople in, or have to rely on somebody else to do that. So it's just a change. I work less. I used to work a lot. Yeah. I've had to adjust how long I work and what I do. Yeah. They're all big changes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you've had quite a significant physical recovery in many ways. Like you're able to do a lot of things for yourself independently now. Yes. Were there any other adjustments that you've sort of had to make in your life in terms of your daily activities and doing different things around the home?
Yeah, I'm not such a clean freak anymore.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I have to choose what I spend my energy on.
Yeah.
So, because I get fatigued.
Yes.
So, and that's not such a bad thing because I make more valued choices now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And do you think there's any other changes or adjustments in your life as a result of that injury and accident?
Are you saying negative or positive?
Either. Positive changes can happen as well sometimes. Can change your outlook on life, I think, in some ways.
Let me just see what I think. Well, I think I've got... can you just rephrase that question again? Sorry.
I was going to say, were there any other changes that you've had to make or any other impact on your life in terms of how you look at life or perhaps how you approach things in life?
I think I've got more of a handle on fear.
Yeah.
Because I've come across something that was really brought a lot of fear up in me, and I worked through that, and I've made some achievements, and I guess it sets in your mind that, well, whatever life throws, you've worked through something really bad, you can handle things. So
yeah, so it almost sounds like a sense of resilience or something, isn't it?
I think it has created some resilience.
Yeah. Okay. And do you think that your injury and your experience affected like your partner or your social parts of your life, other people? Your brother, for example, had to take you to some rehab opportunities. Did it affect anyone else in your sort of social people close to you?
Well, I think it gave my husband high blood pressure, but that's okay because, you know, when you're in hospital, all of a sudden someone's got a job, and he had a really responsible job that was really taking a lot out of him, and then all of a sudden he's got to come into hospital every day for a few hours, bring things in, do things around the house, take on everything.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stress and worry there. And because my rehab period was quite long, that's for quite a long time. And I think all that stress gave him high blood pressure. So, and now things are back to normal. He's never managed to get that back. Okay. So I think that came from that. I always thought I had really good friends, and you know, the people that you think would step up didn't, and the people that I didn't think step up did.
Okay.
And so that was interesting, and it changed a few relationships.
Yeah.
And the people that didn't step up, that was okay. I'm still friends with them because you have to understand that people can do what they can do.
Yeah.
And everyone's got their life pressures.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And is there any ongoing impact of your experience that you found coming through that?
This might sound strange, but I have this unconscious spatial radar now.
Okay.
And I have this thing about falling backwards, because I feel backwards and falling.
Yeah.
And even though psychologically I feel I'm stronger and I've conquered so many things, that's there. So if anything's a bit wobbly or slippy or anything, or there's any chance, like if I sit somewhere, I like to sit with my chair where there's a wall there. So I know if my chair ever tipped, there'd be a wall that would stop me, and things like that.
Yeah.
I am a lot more humble, knowing we can get a bit cocky in life when everything's going good, and I'm quite humbled now, knowing everything can be taken away from you in a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess I'm also a lot happier with simple things in life.
Yeah. Great. And what do you think it's important for other people to learn from your experience?
Try not to let fear get a handle, because fear can be debilitating, paralysing, and take the little energy that you've got. Also, there's not one solution, that we're all individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And experimenting and finding what works best for each person helps a person to relax and then be less fearful and have more energy and motivation.
Yeah.
And that good things can come out of adverse circumstances, but you need to be willing to look for them.
Yeah.
And open yourself up to learning and growing. And also live in the present moment and focus on what you need to do in the moment. Don't live in the past. Again, that can be debilitating.
Yeah.
You don't have to have an accident for that to happen. Lots of people live in the past, but it's no good on so many levels. And I guess it's good for your spirit to take small, simple actions towards something every day.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're achieving something every day, it lifts your spirit, no matter how small it is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, excellent. Is there anything else that you think would be important for people to know about you or know about your experience that we haven't covered?
I've had a very good outcome and a very good experience. And I think that a lot of that had to do with luck. I was told by people, and this is something, if I can add this at the end.
Of course.
People told me along the way, you've got the best professionals. When I was in Hampstead, someone said, you've got the A-team. Out of all the people, you've got the top 3 there as your OT, physio and gym person. And that instantly made me relax and feel comfortable. And along every aspect of my way, of my journey, I was told, you've got really good professionals and people. And this really was important. Now I look back and I think, well, I wonder if I did, or I was just told that. I wouldn't know. But I did feel it as well. I think I could have felt it if they weren't, but that was really important to me.
Sounds almost like that's a positive environment, like just, I guess, that everyone was supporting everyone else and saying that you had good people, and they obviously thought that they were good professionals as well. So
yeah, well, see, I'm a person that, again, being a bit of a perfectionist, something to triangulating.
Yeah.
That triangulates that this is a good situation.
Yeah.
It feels, and I think it's good, but I need someone else to triangulate that it is good, and then I can relax and be confident and comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Is there anything else you think we should cover off today?
I would say have your heart in your job.
Yeah.
And we should always aim to be the best at whatever we do and put excellence into whatever we do. Otherwise, it's just a dirt-to-dirt life.
Yeah.
And that it's really important to the people you're working with. Their lives are at stake and their quality of life. Do the best that you can and be the best person that you can with them.
Yeah. Thanks so much.